What's up, YouTube? This is MetallicTCG here, coming at you with a new deck profile for Harpies for June 2021. So, when it came with this deck, I was initially really excited because of how many fond memories I did have with it when it came within the TCG. And considering how much change the deck has gone, considering we got some new additions such as Oracle, Perfumer, and of course cards like, Feather Rest and also Cyber / Harpie, it really reinvigorated my desire to actually play the deck and be able to see what it can do in Duel Links. And honestly, so far, this deck is a blast. Like, honestly, it's not too hard to build. Sure, you want to make sure you had the Oracle from the event, but honestly, like, I'm actually pretty much 11-0, I think, right now, like, with the JT KC Cup thing going on. So, let me just break down the deck, what I like about it. If you're new to the channel and enjoy these deck profiles or some of the live streams, feel free to hit that subscribe button and also follow me on Twitch, where we actually play Duel Links just about every Saturday or Sunday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Link in the description. So first off, basically the entire idea of the deck is just to spam with having a lot of back row control with cards such as Harpie Hunting Ground, and to be able to also have more control with such cards as Cyber / Harpie Lady, because as you can see, we do run a considerable amount of quick plays as well as some traps to be able to disrupt our opponent's plays. So the first card we're going to be running is one copy of Harpie's Oracle. Harpie's Oracle is really great for an extender because if you do control a level 5 or higher hyper monster, you can special summon it from your hand. And also during the end phase, you can add one Harpie Lady Sisters text card from your graveyard during the end phase. Obviously, you're going to go for Elegant Egotist, but it does help extend your plays for the next turn to be able to keep popping off. We're playing 3 copies of Channeler. I do really like having 3 copies of Channeler because you can open up with this card and it does really set you up pretty well because you can use Channeler to discard any one of your other Harpie cards and then special summon another Harpie. Typically, you're going to go for Harpist just because when it does hit the graveyard, you can then get a search off during the end phase when you do synchro summon it with Harpie's Channeler to be able to bring out Cyber / Harpie. It does have a pretty interesting effect too, that if you control a Dragon type monster becomes level 7. This isn't really utilized in Duel Links as much as in the TCG because Harpie's Pet Dragon is, a little bit better in the TCG than in the Duel Links, but you know what? It's still pretty much an option if you do want to like experiment with a little bit of rank 7s. We're playing one copy of Harpie Harpist. You never really need more than one, honestly, because the deck does contain some recyclability in the fact of Harpie's Feather Rest. But essentially, when this card is normal summoned, you can target one Wing Beast monster you control, other than this card, and one face-up monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Pretty nice having that ability to be able to just send a card back to your opponent's hand, which is really nice. But the main utility from this card is just the search effect that does happen during the end phase. Once per turn, if this card is sent to the graveyard this turn, you can add one level 4 Winged Beast type with 15 attack or less from your deck to your hand. It's really nice because it allows you to pretty much search out any monster from your deck, and this card actually can have some potential future utility with cards such as Black Wings because it doesn't specify it being a Harpie monster, but just a Winged Beast with 15 attack or less. We are playing 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer. With Harpie Perfumer, it's honestly the second best turn 1, or if not even the first best turn 1 card, because when it is normal summon, you can search for one spell or trap that specifically lists Harpie Lady Sisters in a text. So usually it's going to be Elegant Egotist depending on your current place. However, there have been situations where I do search out for Harpie's Hunting Ground depending on what you open up with, and of course Harpie's Feather Rest as well. Just be able to have one card that could potentially search out 3 different cards is really powerful because it's very flexible what it wants to do. And if you control level 5 or higher, aka Cyber / Harpie Lady, this just gives you the ability of searching out a second card with the same conditions with a different name. This is really nice. Like, honestly, it's pretty easily to be able to get that to actually happen by using cards such as like Swallow's Nest. But honestly, having Perfumer just to be able to access 2 searching is really nice. Like, this deck has a ton of searching between. You have cards like, again, Harpist, Perfumer, Hysteric Sign. Again, it's just phenomenal. We have 2 copies of Harpie Lady 1. They're basically the Harpie Ladies for the deck that we use for Elegant Egotist. But honestly, the 300 attack boost can actually be pretty good, honestly. It does really help make and break games, especially when you're going to go for the OTK, because this deck can OTK like it's nobody's business. We're playing 1 copy of Book of Moon because that's all I have with every single purchase of those stupid value special packs with gems only. But Book of Moon is a really great card. It's a quick play, so you can be able to pop it off with cards like Cyber / Harpie to be able to get more additional sending back to the hand. But also, it does prevent your opponent from synchro summoning, Xyz summoning. It can protect you from attacks. There's a lot of utility with Book of Moon. We're also playing 1 Forbidden Lance. Initially, I mean, I'd probably rather have 2 copies of Book of Moon over this, but honestly, Forbidden Lance does have some great utility. For one, it is a quick play spell, so we can be able to use it with cards such as Cyber / Harpie Lady. It does lower the attack, so if you need to get over something that is over about 2600 attack, this is definitely an easy way to do it. And again, having protection from your own, protecting your own monsters with this is really nice as well. So for me, that's actually a pretty decent addition. We're playing 2 copies of Swallow's Nest. 2 has actually been pretty good. I feel like 3 might be a little bit overkill, 1 you may not see it enough, but 2 is actually really good. You tribute 1 face-up Winged Beast type monster, special summon 1 from your deck with the same level as the attributed monster. Honestly, this is really good for OTK pushes, but also, again, you can use this to be able to special summon out your Harpie Perfumer from the deck, or even something like Oracle, just something that gives you additional value. And if you were able to tribute something like Harpie Harpist, again, you get a searcher in the end phase, so this is actually really, really good. 1, Harpie's Hunting Ground. The card is searchable off of cards such as, you know, Perfumer, and also technically Hysteric Sign. So it is really nice to be able to have the back row manipulation when every time you special summon a Harpie, or even normal summon, which is pretty consistent, you get the pop, a spell, or trap. It is the mandatory effect. So 9 out of 10 times you will come across a situation where you do have to destroy, you know, one of your own cards. But you can easily just destroy Harpie's Hunting Ground itself, or even Hysteric Sign, which we'll get to why that's actually really good in a second. But again, just a really good card for be able to help push for the OTK to be able to make sure it's a very safe way to go about it. We have 2 copies of Hysteric Sign. Honestly, you don't need to have 3. When this card is active, you can add an Elegant Egotist from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And during the end phase, this card was sent from the graveyard or from the hand from the field to the graveyard. You can add up to 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand. So kind of going back to the fact, if you do have Harpie's Hunting Ground on the field, if you have to destroy something, you end up destroying this, yo, that pure value, searching 3 Harpie cards from your deck to your hand. And by using cards such as like Harpie's Feather Rest, you can easily essentially make it that you do have live targets to be able to search for that. Because with Harpie's Feather Rest, target 3 Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters in your graveyard, shuffle them in the deck, then draw 1 card. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster when you activate this effect, draw 2 cards instead. The rest of the turn you activate this card, you cannot special summon except wind monsters, which is not a big deal because again, we pretty much only go for Cyber / Harpie Lady or potentially number 70, but nothing really else. So this is just really good to be able to refuel your deck for resource, to be able to summon off of Harpie's Channeler, Harpie's Perfumer, and of course using cards to be able to make it very live. So again, really good for Harpie's Feather Rest. 2 Elegant Egotists, basically it's just special summon a Harpie Lady from the deck, which is really nice, or hand of course. Obviously all these Harpies do consider themselves as Harpie Lady in the hand, or I'm sorry, in the field or the graveyard, so you never really not have a live target. And even Cyber / Harpie is treated as a Harpie Lady monster as well, so this card is essentially always live. The next card we are playing are 2 Karma Cuts. Karma Cut is just really, really good. Again, discard outlets are really good because you can discard stuff like a Hysteric Sign or even Perfumer to get benefit during the end phase of the discarded card. But again, getting rid of a face-up monster your opponent controls by banishing it is really strong. Because again, sometimes stuff has graveyard effects. Someone gets sent to the graveyard, they can trigger it off, but this just helps to prevent it. We're playing 1 Hollow Light Barrier. This is just a weird one-off. It's still really good in the deck because, again, the discard outlet is pretty strong. But again, it does protect you from OTKing on when they're trying to OTK you. So I really do like this addition. For the extra deck, we're playing 2 Cyber / Harpie. So for this card synchro, you can treat 1 Harpie monster you control as a tuner. So pretty much this and any, like, you know, 2 Harpie Ladies, 1 can be treated as a tuner, which is really interesting. I think this is the only card with like an effect like this. This card becomes Harpie Lady while in the field or the graveyard. When a spell or trap is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls or 1 Harpie monster you control, return to the hand. So this is actually pretty cool. You can actually protect your own Harpie monsters from destruction or getting banished with this effect if there's nothing to be able to, you know, bounce back. So again, with that, I kind of like it. I'm gonna like it. We also play 1 Gaga Cowboy. Again, Cowboy is not nearly as strong as it would be in the TCG because 400 just doesn't seem like it's ever going to close games. And we also don't have main phase 2, but Cowboy is still, you know, pretty decent at some aspects. We are playing number 39 Utopia. Again, negating attacks, stalling is never a bad thing. We're playing 1 number 70 Malevolent Sin. Again, really good for just getting rid of problematic cards and also just attacking essentially directly when you banish their card. Because usually when you're banishing with his effect, you're going to start going for direct attacks or getting rid of a problematic threat. So, really good card. We are playing 1 copy of Diamond Direwolf as well. We are running pretty much only Winged Beast, so technically Diamond Dire doesn't have to sacrifice himself, which is pretty nice. And again, the deck does special summon really, really often, so you always have more than fuel source to go for it. And then we are also playing number 18 Heraldry Patriarch. This does help in, you know, like mirror matches and stuff like that as well, so it does help having something to be able to combat that. But again, we never really go into this. Even in the mirror matches, I've actually never gone into this. It just never really comes up too often. As for the ability we're playing, there's a few ways you can go about it. I'm playing the Tie That Binds just because I do like having the additional little attack boost that we do have. You know, by the additional 300 can actually go a long way, especially when you're combining with Harpie Lady 1. However, another very, very good option would be the ability that Mai does have, where it does allow you to have access to a Harpie's Feather Duster, when you have, like, you know, 4 copies or more of Harpies, like, in your graveyard or something like that. Unfortunately, I'm a scrub and I don't have access to that card ability, but you know what, we're still working with this, and this deck is still pretty strong. If you do have any thoughts or comments on the deck, definitely leave them in the comment section below. I would love to get discussions going off on this. Again, thank you so much for listening to me talk about Harpies for about 11 minutes. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the video for more videos. Also, check us out on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Metallicaerox. And I will hopefully see you in the next video.